on YouTube, what's going on Facebook, and all those other good places. It's Kev from Kevin's Corner, and I'm back. That's right. My question is, did you miss me? Yeah, I bet y'all did. Yeah, I missed myself doing my show. Now, real quick, I've been sitting in here for a couple minutes now, and that gnat went to hiding. He went to hiding. Now all of a sudden, he wants to come out and play. Right when I start the show. Right when I start the show. Boy, I tell you, man, when I get done with this show, everybody was kung fu fighting. I'm going after that gnat. That's what I'm doing. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about the gnat. I'm here to talk about me being back. Now, before I get started, please, the number behind you, y'all been doing a wonderful job sending a text message saying MAGA, which allows me to put you in an alert group text that will let you know whenever I release a new upload or do a live stream. So all you got to do is just simply text this number 330-974-4607 and text the word MAGA, and then I'll respond. And by saying, welcome to Kevin's Corner, you made it, you're in. Now all we got to do is just keep everybody abreast on what's going on, because we're not going to get any help from the media. We know that. Other than that, welcome back, everybody. Hit that like button, share my videos, follow me on all the other platforms. Don't forget, check out my podcast. If you want to participate in the super chat, feel free. However, be aware that if for whatever reason I say something that might get all up under YouTube's skin on this particular live stream, they may just confiscate your donation. I'm gonna be honest. I don't to this day I have no idea what happens to the donations when they demonetize a video for something stupid. So the other alternative, if you want to, you could support the channel by sending it to my Cash App or my PayPal, which ensures that it comes to me. So thanks to all of those ahead of time that might want to do that. And I haven't bothered y'all in a couple days, so I'm about to bother y'all now because we got a lot to talk about. Now, we know at 9 o'clock, I guess the debates are going to start. And then, of course, Trump is going to be doing something with Tucker, I believe, either before or during the debates. Either or. Whatever people choose to do and observe and watch, I want to make sure I leave room for that, because I probably will take a peek as well, and then give some feedback a little bit later on. So we're going to go ahead and knock it out early from 7 to 9, and then the rest of the time is yours. But before we do anything, you already know. Yeah, man. Yeah. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. This is G's in the building. Gorillas in here. Gorilla in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. That's right, y'all. And there are also some idiots in here, too. And I'm talking about none other than Creepy, Sleepy, Sleazy, Slimy, Sloppy Joe. That man's a 100% full-blown, uncut idiot. He's the worst of the worst. That dude has broken records. Man, you don't get worse than this guy. Now, at what point does the Democrats finally throw in the towel with this dude? I mean, you know it's coming. You think that man's going to make the distance? You think he's going to go ahead? You already know, if you ever watched like a high school or middle school track meet and somebody jumping in an event that's way over their head. You got a kid in there built kind of like Grimace, and their parents throw him in the 800. And as soon as the race starts off, you're like, that kid's not going to make it. He's not going to finish the race. You can tell he starts off bad. He's going to end up even worse. Same thing when it comes down to Joe. Started off bad, so you can't end up good. And he's on display now because, Joe took a little trip to Hawaii. But prior to that, he had some other priorities. So we're going to go ahead and track his progress, how he ended up over there in Hawaii and what he was doing instead of being over there when he was supposed to be. So let's go ahead and see what's up with Creepy before we get into some other stuff. Oh, there he is. No comment. You know why there's no comment? Because he probably don't know what to say. Yeah, I can't take questions off the top of my dome. Yeah, my dome's missing. Yeah, the whole lid was popped off. Took my brain out. So now, here he is talking about some no comment because he has to make sure that he has prepared comments. Yeah, he can't go off the cuff. We'll see in a minute what happens when Joe goes off the cuff. Now, so he had no comment then, and instead of saying, no comment because I'm about to jump on Air Force One and fly over to Hawaii, here's what Joe was doing. Wait a minute, what just happened? Yeah, let me get back to what Joe was doing over here. Right there, the button got crazy. All right, so let's see what Joe was doing. Oh, look at that. Look at that. You see him riding his bicycle, bicycle. Uh-huh. While Hawaii burned. He's riding his bicycle with that big fat helmet on. What's a Maui? No idea. No idea.
So.
Oh, and then he went to speak. He went to speak. So this lady right here with these worms coming out of her head, she's supposed to be introducing Biden. And, I guess he took a lot of heat up front because he wasn't able to come out and address the whole Hawaii situation. So he's going to go ahead and use this platform to make some comments about Hawaii. But first, let's find out how the introduction to Creepy goes.
Join me in welcoming a really good friend of mine.
Who?
Someone who loves our community.
He does?
Somebody named, I think his name is Joe.
Joe? No, he's creepy. It's creepy.
Good old Joe. Yeah. President Joe Biden.
Come on, Joe. Come on. Come on, Joe. Come on, Joe. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Crickets.
Well, I'm a little underwhelmed.
Me too.
I think I messed up.
Wow. Man.
Y'all please vote for me, okay?
No, because your judgment's bad. I would never vote for you. Ever, ever, never, ever. Because you got out there and introduced Creepy, knowing Creepy is never ready. I remember that video where Barack Obama, next president of the United States, Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Joe Biden. And that man stood Barack up. I don't know what Creepy was doing in the back. Maybe eating some chocolate chip. Might have been on the phone, shaking down some people for some more loans. I mean, some more extorting some people. Is it extortion? Wait, no, constort. Wait a minute. He's in this shaking down people for bribes. There it is. What? You know what? I can't remember that word. But anyway, so yeah, he might have been doing something like that, or even perhaps, who knows what Joe was into, sniffing some folks. We don't know. So here he is now. He finally made it out, and let's see what he has to say.
Apologize because I try very hard to keep my speeches between 15 and 18 minutes.
Because I have no stamina. Can't go any longer than extortion. Boy, I wonder why I couldn't figure that word. I was thinking of extortion. I don't even know if that's a word. Yeah, extortion. Thank you. Boy, I tell you. And he is an extortionist. But now here he is talking about he keeps his speeches to, I don't know, 13, 15, 17 minutes, something like that. That's about all he got in the tank. And that's a very rough 17 minutes. And so here he is. He's apologizing because now he has to go off script and mention Hawaii after he gets all of this heat from not addressing Hawaii.
But I got to talk a little bit about Hawaii.
Got to.
FEMA Administrator Griswold, who's the best we ever had,
Who?
I think. And the FEMA Administrator.
Now, see, there we go. This is what happened when you put words in front of Joe. Joe would take those words and make those words into whatever his brain wants them to be. So now he's talking about this lady, Deanna Criswell or whatever, and he's about to give her some type of a compliment like he was really intimate with her. He knows her, but he hacks up her name, and that ain't the first. Here's some other examples of it.
Administrator who's become the MVP here these days. I spend a lot of time in this room. Griswold. FEMA and the entire workforce.
I'm surprised he said Griswold. Yeah, Griswold. I love Clark and all of them. And Russ. Yeah, Russ was my favorite character. So here he is right here talking about Griswold. That's what, the first mistake, second, then he's, can we go three?
Administrator Deanna Griswold is here. To date,
he corrected the correct enunciation. He said Criswell. Then he came right back, Griswold. You know, I'm not okay if I don't make a mistake. Yeah, I like my gaffes. So he's a gaff master, and he goes back and corrects himself. Like, I can't say it the right way. I gotta flub it up. It's Griswold. So now here he is talking about Griswold, and then now he's bringing up some money that I guess he's supposed to be sending over there. But Joe and math, it's not good. It's not good.
FEMA has approved 50,000 meals, 75 liters, 1,000 liters of water,
Embarrassing.
500 beds, 10,000 blankets. The Army helicopters help.
Embarrassing. Embarrassing. Now, do you think Joe had a voice in what should be sent? Whenever these things happen, Trump was hands on. He knew about all that stuff. He was able to step in just in case somebody, maybe cut some corners or something, say, all right, now wait, is that enough? Let's make sure that people have this. Let's do this. He was always involved in these major decisions. Now, does this look like a man who was really involved in what FEMA did or suggesting what they did? He doesn't even know the amounts and all of those things that they're sending. No idea. They're sending 50, wait, no, 5, wait, 7, wait, 1,500, 1,000 gazillion beds. And he has no idea. And this shows everybody, if they're smart, this guy is not all the way there. He's never been there. They just stick him out there, throw those numbers up there, and watch him make a complete fool of himself. Now, if I'm a Hawaiian in an all Democrat ran state, I would be livid. And we're going to find out they are. Okay, after going through all of that. Now, the question becomes, just like all of these other liberal states and cities, what are you going to do about it? That's the question I have. Now, this guy right here, flub this up, is pretty much bad as you can get. And the question is he going to pay a price for this? We've seen this guy flub up one situation after the other. I mean, you look at what took place in Afghanistan. Yeah, they let it run for a couple weeks or whatever. Even the fake news tried to act as if they were a little perturbed over his reaction to that. But then all of a sudden they go right back to praising the man, protecting the man, all of that stuff. They are so phony and so fake. And if they were doing their job, this would be his FEMA. Not his FEMA, but this would be his Katrina. That's what it would be. But instead, I haven't heard any fake news criticize this man for how he handled this. None of it. Now, the people in Hawaii are going to criticize him a little bit later, as we're about to find out, and I'm going to join in. Okay, so let's see. Here he is. He's talking about helicopters and stuff.
Fire suppression and efforts on the Big Island, because there's still some burning on the Big Island, not the one where you see on television all the time.
Yeah, don't bog him down with names, locations. The Big Island. Yeah, he's reduced to like kid conversations, saying the big truck. Yeah, and then there's the little truck too. Kind of like Kamala. Him and Kamala, unfortunately, is operating almost on the same level. She does stuff just like that too. When she's talking, she has to talk like it's pop-ups that she's looking at, big old storybook that she's looking at. Right there's the big red truck. There's a yellow one right there. So now here he is. He's talking about the Big Island. But is he correct? No criticism from the media, nothing. They're not recognizing this. Now imagine Trump flubbing this up like he is.
But the fire wasn't on the Big Island. It was on the island of Maui.
Where is the fact checkers? Where is little Brian Stelter? I ain't heard from him in a while. I mean, is he out of business? Did they shut down little Brian Stelter? And you know what? The president doesn't even know the difference between this and nothing that? Nowhere? He's nowhere to be found? That little squeaky voice done went into hiding. So now Joe gets that wrong.
But Joe Biden doesn't care.
No. And it's not that he doesn't care. He just doesn't know. He's not able to even put this stuff together. So now, here we go, y'all. That's before he even made it to Hawaii. But now he's landing in Hawaii. Woohoo! Joe's on the move, baby. Yeah, 13 days later.
People out here, they've been here for hours. A bunch of them are protesting.
Karen.
They have their makeshift signs, cardboard signs. A lot of them saying, as we've been talking about, that he's too late.
My.
Some of them feel that he should have been here much earlier.
Oh, my. Oh, dang. I thought they would be there celebrating since they're all Democrat voters. Here comes our champion. That's right. This is the person we all voted for over the white nationalist races. Now, I'm not here to criticize, per se, the people in Hawaii. They made their political choice. That doesn't mean they deserve all of this stuff right here. But see, what they also don't deserve is a so-called president that took 13 days to get there, had no comments when he did make comments. I'm thinking, what the heck is he talking about? They don't deserve that. I would hope, though, in this tragedy, based on the response of their leaders on the ground in Hawaii and most likely the man that they voted for, they make some connections. I mean, I would hope they might demand some competition in Hawaii because apparently there's no Republicans in Hawaii running, I guess. I don't know. So hopefully they will start to see how much the Democrat Party and their leaders neglect their voters. It's almost as if they have no interest in rushing to their aid. East Palestine is another one. However, the folks in East Palestine already hip to the game. They're like, oh no, we ain't gonna vote for this dude. Nah, it ain't happening. And the sad part about it is he never even came there. Trump had to come. See, now Trump came out, made an announcement about this. He spoke to it while Joe was running around riding his bike with his big fat helmet on and talking about no comment and stuff. Yeah. When Biden was doing all of that, Trump addressed this. And so now here he is. Here he is 13 days later. And I guess he wants everybody to be excited about him showing up. So let's check this out and see how they feel about creepy.
Other signs that say actions speak louder than words.
Oh, what's this? Yay, here comes Joe, right?
Wow, he's finally here.
Oh.
Oh, wow, yeah. Awesome.
Oh.
Yeah, thanks for nothing.
Are those the birds?
Thanks for nothing. You.
The bird is the bird is the bird is the bird. It's the bird, 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 the bird is the bird. The bird is the bird. Bird. Woo-wee! Oh yeah, you know what comes before that you. You know what they're saying before that you. In context, we all know what they're saying before that you. They ain't saying love you. They're not saying that. They're not saying that. They're saying something else. That's right. Blank Joe Biden. And they flipping that bird is the bird is the bird is the bird is the bird, 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 bird. Boy, I wish I was there for that bird party. Boy, I tell you, man, I would have all kind of birds tweeting. That's right, here it comes, y'all. Get the birds out. Get them out to welcome him. So now he's getting a bird as he rides through. Now, knowing Joe, he don't even know. He don't even care. Look at him waving. They love me. Yes, 81 million votes. Look at that. So now they're all giving him the bird as he rides by. Boy, I tell you. Democrats. See, so here we go.
You. Hey, right here. Hey, you, Joe Biden.
I'm mad I wasn't invited to the bird party. Look at that. Oh, there he is. Barely able to walk. Oh, easy. Easy, Tiger. Easy. Keep your balance. It's nice and slow. Here we go.
Well, hello, people of Maui.
Oh, God.
Senator Mazie, by the way.
Oh, off grip. Off grip. Can't pronounce that last name. Horona's too much. He couldn't stick that landing. Got halfway through the routine. No, he didn't even get halfway. He started the routine off and had to stop. Like, I can't do this. I'm going to bail out and try to divert to something else. So I don't have to embarrass myself trying to pronounce her last name. But he says they're tight. They're tight. So what is her name again? Let's see here. Here he goes. Let's see.
Anyway, but her name is Maisie as well.
Oh, all right. And way to get out of that one, Joe.
Maisie, by the way, Maisie, I told my
you hear Joe pull that parachute quick? Her Maisie, what the heck is that? I can't say that word. Now, you know, by the way, couldn't get the last name, huh?
Granddaughter, whose name is Maisie as well. She said that's why I like her. Anyway.
How about you stay on task, Joe? How about you get to the point? This is not a time for jokes, laughs, sidebar conversations. You take 13 days to get there, and when you show up, you're talking about your granddaughter named Maisie because you can't pronounce her last name. But it gets worse, if you could believe that.
But her name is Maisie as well. And Jill Takuda, Representative Ed Chase.
Get that butcher knife out. That man went to work on those names. Senator Christian Cruz. He's all up in the guts of every one of these names right there. Nobody could rehearse those names prior to him coming out. Nobody on Air Force One was, all right, Mr. Biden, here's all the names you got to pronounce. We know you're horrible at this. So let's hear you say it. I want to hear you enunciate the word. Try it again. Try it again. No. Don't divert. Don't go. Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Why are you walking away? See, so here he is trying to pronounce words and embarrass himself even more.
And Mayor Rick Basson, Rick, when we talked on the phone, I never.
Jeez, gave up on it. Gave up on it. Rick Kabasi. Kabasi. Wait, no. Yeah, by the way. Now, this is a tactic that he uses when he looks at something and says, there's no way I'm going to be able to go ahead and pronounce that. So what I need to do is come up with a story. Try to, say, here's a cowboy that I got right there. He's a good friend of mine, this and that, but you can't pronounce his name. These people that you try to pretend that you're so familiar with and got these relationships with, and you can't even pronounce their names. I got good best friends right now. If I go out there talking about, man, one of my best friends, man, his name is Clinton. Clinton. Y'all would be going, is he really your best friend? Are y'all really tight? You're telling me you can't even pronounce his name? How close could you be? But here he is now hacking up names and diverting to some crazy stories or questions or whatever.
You look like you played defensive tackle for, I don't know who, but it was somebody good.
I don't know who, but somebody good. They're in a serious moment. Get there, grab the mic, can't pronounce names, don't know locations, barely could walk to the mic, talking about football, can't name a football team. I don't know, but somebody good. All because you can't pronounce the man's last name. And yet the Democrats are still trying to pretend that this man is going to be the 2024 candidate. There is no way in the world they're going to let that happen. This man can't even address these people and their tragedy properly. And you're telling me that man right there is going to make it the distance? It's not happening. They're going to find a way to sabotage him, and we'll go ahead and touch on that at the end of the show.
But at any rate, I want to thank you for your leadership and this unimaginable tragedy.
Okay.
Tragedy. To my left.
To my left.
During this unimaginable tragedy.
There you go. Did y'all know that in Jobaden, that's a new language. He speaks Jobaden. It's not a travesty. It's a travesty. There you go. It's a tragedy, y'all. So it says during this unimaginable tragedy.
Tragedy. To my left.
What the hell is going on?
I say the same thing, Trump. Look. Oh. Moment of confusion. You see this man like, wait a minute, where am I? Is this Ohio? No, it's not. Because we don't want your stinking butt there either. So here he is looking like he just smelt a fart. Now, let's see how the guy next to him has to step up and help Joe find out where he needs to go. Okay, then should I take him, push him? No, get your butt that way. Hey, Joe, get moving. Don't make me put this hand on you. Oh, where are we going again? This is our leader? That's our leader? That's our leader? See, this is the footage that a lot of people across the country who just vote randomly or emotionally, impulsively, get manipulated. They don't see this stuff. They don't see how embarrassing this guy is. Now, remember, Trump was supposed to be embarrassing on the world stage. How can you get worse than that? This is the most embarrassing stuff I've ever seen out of any leader at any time in my lifetime. Anytime. Now, that's saying a lot, y'all. That's saying a lot. I done seen a lot of leaders get out there and do stupid stuff. But I've never seen a person get out there and embarrass himself and his whole country like Creepy is doing. But I won't even blame it on Creepy. Like the Democrats are doing. They're part of this embarrassment too, because they stuck this man right in there. And guess who else is a part of the embarrassment? The media. They should be embarrassed for lying and pretending that this man is functional. So now here he is. He's now giving a speech, and here it comes, y'all. He's about to go in this big old bag of fake bootleg comparisons and stories all the time so he can relate. He likes to try to relate.
Compare difficulties, but we have a little sense, Jill and I, what it's like to lose a home.
Oh, God.
Years ago, now 15 years ago, I was in Washington doing Meet the Press. It was a sunny Sunday.
Here it comes.
And lightning struck at home on a little lake. It's outside of our home, not a lake, a big pond. And hit a wire and came up underneath our home into the heating ducts, the air conditioning duct. To make a long story short, Almost lost my wife, my 67 Corvette,
My Corvette.
and my cat.
You hear that? If I was those dudes behind him with those little teeny baby guitars, I might bash his head. I might turn that mug around like boom, right on his head. Ah, you know what? We know a little something about loss. Now these people done lost cribs, all of their assets. This man's talking about a Corvette and his cat. There you go. And not to mention, he didn't really even almost lose any of those things. We're about to find out. See, this right here, nobody steps up and checks him in the fake news. Nobody steps up and say he keeps telling the story as if it was a real loss. Only we are able to check this dude on this stuff. You got to be kidding me. So here he is talking about, we know a little something about loss, and this is the Democrats' MO. Let's go ahead and either embellish on a past story so we can attempt to connect with our audience, even though it becomes obvious that we're blowing it up so we can relate and kind of win your favor and make you think we're just like you. We're just like you. He does this about his son all the time. You'll see, a soldier or somebody get killed and he'll show up. My son, Bo, he got killed in Afghanistan. And I'm like, he didn't. He didn't, Joe. You're reaching. You're trying to make yourself relatable to these people, and it becomes offensive to these people. So now here he is talking about his house almost burned down. He almost lost his wife and his Corvette and his cat. You got to be kidding me. So we better go ahead and fact check this story.
But all kidding aside,
Shouldn't have been kidding. Oh, whoa. Joe refers to 2004 kitchen fire as house burning down with wife in it. Oh, the report said firefighters got the blaze under control in 20 minutes. What? And that they were able to keep the flames from spreading beyond the kitchen. You got to be kidding me. Now, this man just said he always experienced some loss, too. We almost got the whole house burned down, and my Jill almost got burned up. And then, now, I know a little bit about that myself. See, when I was a young boy at 16, our house burnt completely down. Not the kitchen. Completely down. All of the childhood pictures, toys, memories, gone. Just like that. That's a real burn down. This dude? A little fire took place in his kitchen area. You probably could have hit it with the shh, shh. Yeah. And here he is talking about, we know something about loss too. Unreal. So let's see. Here we go.
a little sense, Jill and I, what it's like to lose a home.
Really, Joe? Really? Let's see. Here we go. Whoa, look at that. I'm sure that's a pretty good comparison to Joe's kitchen fire. Boy.
Have your lid.
Here's the
what
kitchen
you want to do is you want to try to come in at an angle.
Yeah.
Approach it. The biggest thing is don't panic. Approach it
There
and
you
let
go.
it rest on there.
Yep, that's what happened there at Joe's house. See,
have a little sense, Jill and I, what it's like to lose a home.
do you, Joe? Do you, Joe? So he got a little sense. Now, you know what that is? That's like folks over here in America who don't realize how great we have it. And they'll complain and might even compare their complaint or their situation to people in other countries where they really have a problem. That's like you saying, you know what, man, I wasn't able to eat dinner all the way up until 9 o'clock at night. I thought I was going to die. I was starving. Then you look over in certain areas in Africa and different countries like that, and you see them walking around. Y'all all remember the little commercials that they would have. You come on and everybody, this is little, bijou over here, and the stomach's bloated, flies all on him, walking around, no water, no food for days. And here you talking about my little 9-hour, dangle spurt right there. I couldn't even eat. I thought I was going to die. I was at work stuck, and they was like, oh, no, I'm sorry, you're going to have to go ahead and miss your lunch break. Man, I thought I was going to kick the bucket. And I'm saying, wow, okay. You do know, like, starvation is something serious. Like, okay, so you're telling me you're a little parched? You haven't had a swig of water for about 5 hours? They don't have water over there. So people don't realize that, man, everything is relative. But if you got some common sense, you're not going to compare your little situation to somebody who have a real drastic situation, especially if you're the president. especially if you're trying to have some empathy and you go over there and your empathy comes out in the form of a drastic comparison. Talking about, we almost lost our Corvette and my cat and just the kitchen. Now, they put that fire out in Joe's kitchen 20 minutes? 20 minutes? How long did it take them to put the fire out over there? But Joe knows something about some loss, right? Unbelievable. But then here is the kipper. After all of Joe's running around, gaffing all over the place, yeah, messing up names, offending the Hawaiians, and receiving that bird, after all of that, he was tuckered out, y'all. Look at
It makes matters even worse. We now have video of Biden apparently falling asleep
Tuckered
while
out.
sitting through a ceremony honoring the survivors.
the heavy breathing.
Again, you just can't make this shit up.
Oh, Doc, I'm going to excuse that big fat cuss word right there. Because, boy, did y'all see him? Now, the media will probably try to tell you he was meditating or praying or something. Yeah, that's what they would probably try to tell you. However, the heavy breathing gave it all away. Let's see if we can catch it. Let's see. See, I know some about some sleeping. Okay, I've been there before.
We have a little sense,
Here we
Jill
go.
and I,
You see the heavy?
what it's like
Here
to
it
lose
comes.
a home.
And what makes matters even worse, we now
see.
have video
Look
of
at
Biden apparently.
Oh, yeah. Y'all see them shoulders and his little ducktail? You see the ducktail hanging off the back right there? He got a little ducktail and baby mullet, and he's sitting there breathing. That is not your normal breath. That's that sleep breath. That's that sleep breathing right there. So don't feed me no crap about Joe Biden. He's so moved by the strength and the bravery of all the Hawaiians that he closed his eyes in a moment of meditation. No, that man was sleeping. That's what he was doing.
Asleep while sitting through
Poor
a
little guy.
ceremony honoring the survivors of the fire.
Rims.
Again, you just can't.
Oh, you see him shake the head? That's right. Child, do want chocolate chip. What? Where am I? No idea. This guy was knocked out.
Can't make this shit up.
He's horrible. He is absolutely horrible, man. And that is why my prediction is this man will never make it to 2024. You can't stick that man up there. I mean, for him to get out there and try to run a legitimate campaign would be a travesty. They know it. He can barely even stand, barely walk. They're showing him where to go. And then he falls asleep at the end of the day after laying doo-doo pies all over Hawaii. He spreaded nothing but doo-doo pies everywhere and was tired from doo-dooing all over the place and just fell asleep at the end. Yes, that's right. Nodding. That's right. I stink. So now let's go ahead and switch, because it's not only Joe that stinks, but it's the people who promoted Joe and is still trying to protect Joe. See, they would rather protect that dude who embarrassed us all on the national stage, who offended all the people who really voted for this man. They would rather protect him so that they can try to destroy Trump. And the media right now is in full effect doing their best to try to destroy Trump. So they're up to all kind of little shenanigans, y'all. And it ain't just Trump. It's conservatives across the board. If you ever want to see some bias, I'm about to show you just how biased these folks are and how obviously corrupt and sold out they are to this liberal globalist agenda. And they use these attacks and they expect not to ever be challenged. So now I had to find some clips where there's masterclasses on how to deal with these stinking funky fake news journalists. Masterclasses. Now I'm one day hoping to do a masterclass myself whenever I reach the level where CNN or MSNBC might invite me on the show. They don't like me. They don't want me. I'm a black man. I thought y'all love black men and their opinions about politics. So throw me on one of them shows so I can go ahead and get me a nice big fat soundbite like this. But until then, look at this masterclass on how to handle the fake news. This guy's from Canada, too.
Hello, Mr. Paliev. A number of your own comments and actions have been characterized as dog whistling to the far right.
By who?
By a number of different. I think it's been characterized by that way. But are you trying to court? Are you trying to court the far right?
Sorry, I just need to clarify. By who?
By a number of different experts and a number of
Who are the
different people.
experts?
Who who
are the
work in
experts?
this.
Got her jammed all up. Jam. Oh, jam. Jam. Fake news jam for me. Doom, doom, do-do-do-doom. Doom, doom, do-do-doom, dum, dum, diddy. Got her jammed up. See, they never expect that. That's how you get them. Yeah, you don't let them move past that, where they sling out some garbage like that and try to keep it moving. A lot of people think that your rhetoric is appealing to the far right, and there's a dog whistle by who? Huh? By who? Oh, you want me to name people? Huh? Yeah, by who? Everybody. Who's everybody? A lot of professionals. Who? They get away with this crap constantly. The many Intel community people, there's many professionals, there's many experts, and they never get called out on list them. I want to hear who is out there saying this, because it's really you.
Okay, well, I think it's been established that this is a concern. Are you trying to court the far right vote?
Who are these experts? You say that there are experts who are saying this. Who are they?
My question is, are you trying to court the far right vote?
Wow, I'm loving it. This woman's like, I was not expecting this. I wasn't ready. This man's asking me for receipts as I'm trying to slander him and suggest that there's this mysterious group of people out there that, all saying, yeah, this guy's about the far right. He's radical. He's trying to blow dog whistles and stuff. And they've been getting away with this crap forever. I don't know who this guy is. If I was in Canada, he would get my vote. I know he's a conservative running for, he's actually going to be trying to run against the man chicken up there in Canada. And I hope he beats the feathers off of the man chicken. I hope that man chicken get every single feather plucked. That's what I'm hoping. Caw-caw, he's a chicken. Caw-caw, caw-caw. Because he's a chicken. Cuckoo-ca-cha. He's a chicken. Cheetah, cheetah. That's what he is. So here this guy is putting this lady on blast, and she is juggling it like, whoa, I don't know what to do with this. Nobody ever asked. They just accept it.
Your question seems to be based on a false premise. You can't even tell me who these experts are. It sounds like it's just a CBC smear job.
Oh.
Thank you.
But what about the question about whether
the answer is that I have a comment.
See, she won't quit. She won't quit. See, so now here it is. Remember, they don't like to ask questions to conservatives about policies. No, forget that mess. We're just going to go straight in on trying to suggest that everything that you stand for, all your policies, everything is motivated by extremism, by some type of hidden racism. And instead of listening to what you actually say, we're going to insert this whole thing called a dog whistle. See, because the thing about the dog whistle is that normal folks who actually understand words and vocabulary and context and sentences and stuff like that, they can't see and hear the dog whistle. They can't see. So we as the media have to translate, what this man is really standing for and what he's really saying, and let you guys realize that it's really a dog whistle. So forget what he actually says. Okay, trust us. It's a dog whistle. Don't take his words for what they are. It's a dog whistle. Convert those words into evil motives, and then you'll understand how these conservatives think. Now, this is sad, but they've been getting away with this crap forever. That's why this is a masterclass right here. Call them out. And now I'm going to show y'all another person who, boy, he's been wreaking havoc on these dang on fake news people. But let's finish up with this guy first.
Sense agenda to axe the carbon tax, bring home powerful paychecks, clear
like
the way to build affordable homes, to put people in housing that they can afford.
Whoa.
That is a common sense, mainstream Canadian agenda. And I know that Justin Trudeau's supporters are so desperate to distract from that because his political career is falling apart. So we're seeing an attempt here to distract and protect Justin Trudeau from his extremely unpopular carbon taxes and other failing policies. But we won't let him or his or others distract from that reality. So thank you.
There you go. Call out that motive. Now, I know what you're really up to. This is a smear piece right here. See, because if you can't come in and say, hey, I spoke to A, B, C, and D, and they all told me this, you're just going to come in that there's a rumor going around that what you really meant was, so that's what you're going with? And you thought you can just blow right past that. And now he made her pump the brakes and at the end expose her motive. And then laid it out beautifully after embarrassing her by just simply saying, so I guess these common sense things that common sense regular Canadians want in their life, for some reason, because you guys are trying to keep the man chicken in business. Yeah, that communist over there, because y'all trying to keep him in business, you're going to label all of these common sense things that citizens want as far right extremists. See, this is the game they play to try to destroy you, to try to undermine you, to try to justify persecuting you, labeling you as extremists. And who knows if you got a rotten, corrupt FBI or DOJ or CIA or any of these three-letter agencies, they might just start developing, a chart for all the things that they label people as extremists with. All right, if they're wearing a certain shirt, they're extremists. If they're carrying a flag that's whatever, they're extremists. See, you might just get that. Figure out a way to go after the people who don't like you, don't like your policies, and justify it by us creating this whole narrative that if you want common sense policies in your country, those are extreme. If you want your border safe, that's not being common sense. No, what that is xenophobia. If you don't want your kids reading certain material in a classroom about sex, about homosexuality and trans and all that stuff, if you don't want that, that's not you being a protective parent and having common sense. No. You're transphobic. You're extreme. If you want cops in your city and law and order, that's not common sense. No. You're white supremacist. Yeah, you love seeing black people abused. That's what it is. If you don't want to give up your guns because you're suspicious of a corrupt government that have proven to be deceitful and facetious when it comes down to how they've been persecuting and charging folks and raiding people's cribs and stuff and forcing vaccines into people's arms and stuff like that. If you're a little suspicious about that, no, you're not just being a constitutionalist and a person with common sense. Nah, you're a radical. You're a radical. That's what you are. See, that's what they do. That's the game. And all you are is a regular common sense American that says, I want our leaders to look out for us and our interests first and foremost. I want y'all to get out of our personal lives and business. That's what I want. I don't want you messing with our kids. I don't want that. I want you to live and let live. If these folks want to do what they do, fine. Don't legislate it though. Don't shove it down everybody else's throat. I want you all to make an evil level playing field for all of us to pursue the American dream. I don't want to see y'all sending money all over the globe while we are neglected here in this country. I don't want to see y'all shoveling a whole bunch of illegal immigrants into our cities and all over the place and using our tax dollars to do it because you guys want to build a whole new voter base. I don't want that. And because you don't want it. Now all of a sudden, dog whistle, you're white nationalist, all that stuff. But yet, we got another example of how to handle the darn media. Oh, the hit is in on Vivek. Now, I don't know if y'all have heard some of his interviews, but I will say he puts on a masterclass on how to expose the fake news. One thing about him is, one, it appears that he has an excellent memory. Number two, it also appears that he operates and responds to all of these hit pieces with nothing but facts. And this is the big problem for all of these people. Just like that man required her to show some evidence, she was like, what? Oh man, I thought we operate on never having to show evidence. Like the Democrats operate when they attack Trump, when they come out talking about all these indictments. He broke laws, which ones? All of them. Stuff like that. How their voters who are radicalized run around saying Trump's a white nationalist, he's a Nazi, he is a criminal, and all of that stuff. And when you stop them and say, produce the evidence. What? Get out of my face, you white nationalist fascist. Because they don't have any evidence. So that's what he does to this person. And boy, he's about to put on a masterclass here, y'all. So let's check out this embarrassment on CNN, y'all. The hit is in Oh, that's him out there playing tennis with no shirt on.
So that's 3 hours of debate prep there, Bakari Sellers. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you hear this black dude? I detect some sarcasm in this black dude's voice. Now Vivek decides, you know what? I pretty much know what I'm already going to talk about. I don't have to do a Joe Biden. I don't have to do a Hillary Clinton. I don't have to sit back in some room. All right, once again, Mrs. Clinton, let's go over it. Because if you know what you believe and you have ideas in your head, you don't need all of that. Trump really didn't prepare for debates either. He got out there and was like, man, I already know what I believe. I know what I think. You know, I don't want to come across scripted. That's why when I do my show, I don't sit back and be reading to you guys. Everything's off the top of the dizome. That's what it is. Okay. I know what I believe. I know how I feel about things. I'm least educated enough on the topic where I can speak intelligently. And if there's something I'm confused on, I'm able to be like, all right, I don't know. Can y'all, anybody got some ideas? But Vivek has shown that, number one, he is very clear on his policies and what he believes. Two, he is very abrush on the subjects that he's talking about. So he don't need that. You know, Ron and all of them, and definitely Mike Pence, his raggedy tail, are somewhere practicing. Is my hair pulled over just perfectly? All right, now make sure I got the certain tie on and make sure I, hand gestures and actually all of that crap. So Vivek decides to use his time out playing tennis. I don't see what the problem is. But Shakari or whatever this peanut head dude's name is, got a problem with it. Hits in.
Yeah, I'm not too, there's nothing about that excites me. Look, I think that he's actually one of the candidates that is the kind of the biggest clown in the circus. And the reason being is because he really...
It's because he's rising in the polls. There it is. I just answered it for you, pseudo black man. He's one of the biggest clowns in the circus. Because the reason is because he's rising in the polls, and he is very clear on his political beliefs about what to do with the darn deep state, what to do with these three-letter agencies, how to handle situations like what's going on in Ukraine. You know, they all support this crap. Now, if Ron DeSantis would be in number two, or if it looked like, Vivek was not rising somewhere, you wouldn't see these hit pieces. You wouldn't see that. That's how they operate. They go, who is now becoming the second threat? And so they're going after Vivek. Now, I personally think I like everything that he believes and stands for politically. I haven't seen him do an interview where I said, no, wait a minute, and he does defend Donald Trump in spite of him running against Donald Trump. So I would go so far as to think that, he's probably auditioning for a vice president seat. But he's doing it very well. And it starts with destroying these narratives. So let's finish hearing the pseudo black man talk about why he's offended by him and all this. And he did nothing for him because he's playing tennis with his shirt off.
He doesn't have any political depth. He hangs on to a lot of Republican tropes and stereotypes. He kind of mimics the language of Donald Trump. And he probably should be spending time with Kevin today preparing for the debate, because he really doesn't have any policy depth. And the fact that he's out there hitting a tennis ball shows you that he's not really going to take this seriously tomorrow night. And we're going to see his lack of depth.
What in the heck is this dude talking about? Why they put Peanut Head right out there to say something so asinine? Now, he has to do this with the belief that nobody who watches this fake news network has ever seen an interview of Vivek. This man just said he has no policies. He should be sitting there getting ready for the debate. Maybe he's never seen how this guy gets on their networks and destroys their commentators. He has to debate every time that he goes on one of these fake networks. And they throw all kind of stuff out at him, way worse than what probably happened during a real debate against other Republicans. So here's this guy saying he should be prepping for a debate. It looks like he's pretty much ready. But secondly, this guy right here says he don't have policies. Now, I sat back there and heard Vivek throw out very detailed strategies of how he would go in and unravel the deep state, what he would do about the economy, what he would do about foreign policies. And this guy gets up there and just drops it out there. He has no political depth. He doesn't have any policies. Just random hit pieces. Like, hopefully this will stick. I'm just going to throw out stuff.
Shown through. I think that he's going to be the one who actually the bottom falls out, because right now in most polls he's running third. I don't know how or why. I don't know who a Ramaswamy voter is. However, I think
I don't know how or why. I don't know who a Ramaswamy voter is. No, wait a minute, black man. I thought y'all was power to the people. Whatever happened to minorities and stuff? Whatever happened to diversity? Whatever happened to that? Now all of a sudden he's just a regular old, white nationalist or something? That's what he is? Hey, parents, Trump. This is the other part that folks need to wake up and realize. They care nothing about minorities or diversity. Yes, in fact, they're totally against diversity. They might like surface diversity. Yes, come out and manage your purple green hair. Come out as a transgender, all that stuff. But you better think like we think. You better believe what we believe, or we'll throw you right back over there into the white nationalist category. See, that's what you don't want to be in that. Ask Clarence Thomas. Yeah, he's getting the business. You would think they'd celebrate that black man, but no. Hit piece. So they're doing the same to Vivek right about now, and they're using the black man to do it.
tomorrow night the bottom will fall out due to that lack of depth.
We're going to see tonight.
Well, I will say he does have a great
tennis. Who plays tennis with their shirt off? Who plays tennis?
Look, what that got to do with it, man? Just because you can't take your shirt off, bad body. Don't be hating. Dang on it. Unbelievable. They invite me on that mug. I might do an interview with no shirt on just because of what he said. Sitting there with the bare chest out. Sir, we went to commercial, came back, your shirt's off. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I want this fool over here to, respect me and my man shirt being off, okay? Might throw it on his face. Well, I disagree with you. Shirt right on him. Here's my shirt to shut your mouth up. But now he's upset about the man playing tennis with his shirt off.
With their shirt off.
Well, clearly you and I have not played together because I've got all sorts of gear when I'm playing tennis. But we'll get into that later. Maybe I don't know. Let's just not delve into that minefield right now, Bakari. Let's just end it there and let's all just be friends.
Why can't we be friends? So now let's see why Shikari has launched the first hit piece on him. And he says the man better prep for debates. He said this man might be exposed tonight during the debates and stuff, and he has no depth in his policies. So here we go, y'all. Here's another masterclass. So let's see if Shikari was correct. CNN, y'all. Woo, the nasty person versus
One thing that you will likely be asked about on Wednesday night is foreign policy. And you recently said that to protect Taiwan, you would do this.
Okay.
Guess what? We'll put a gun in every Taiwanese household, train them how to use it. That is how you make Xi Jinping think twice.
Good idea.
Do you really think that would be a sufficient plan to deter a Chinese invasion if it includes long-range missiles, ground troops, an aerial blockade, a naval blockade?
Caitlin.
All of the different measures here?
Caitlin, of course.
Oh, dummy. Now, you got to understand, this right here ticked everybody off, I guess, on Twitter and stuff, because they were saying he was mansplaining and he was being condescending. No, this chick brought it all on herself. She brought all of those tons of condensation down on herself by asking a stupid question. Now, you take a little short clip like that, and you played that. And out of all the things the man talked about, all of his policies, you try to segment that and say, well, you know what? Do you really think that was... Now, do you think that that's all he said? That's the question. She's hoping this man will just address that and not talk about all the other stuff that he mentioned, and then not point out the fact that you tried to do a hit piece on me. You could have asked any other question, but for some reason you want to talk about the Second Amendment because you know they hate that. They don't want to ever talk about arming the citizens and the population. Now, I'm going to respond to that as well because I think that idea is brilliant. And I'll tell you why in a second. But let's see how he handles this big fat fake chick.
Of course, it's not sufficient. You take that tiny little clip when I've articulated at the Nixon Library last week, a 1-hour speech with a whole range of deterrents. That is part of it. But I've also said that I would pull Russia out of its military alliance with China. I've also said that we would bolster our partnership with India to be able to close the Andaman Sea and the Malacca Strait. I've also said that we would actually send a signal very clearly that we will defend Taiwan, moving from strategic ambiguity to strategic clarity to say that we will defend Taiwan until we have semiconductor independence in this country.
How does she miss all those other things? Huh? How does she miss all of that? So let me get this straight. Nah, we don't want that. That doesn't fit our narrative. Move on. Oh, there we go. Right there. Yes, he wants guns to be in the hands of the citizens. Let's see if we could go ahead and just focus on that. Boy, I tell you. And she's sitting there sucking on a lemon right now. So now that's three things she must have missed. Or maybe her people who does research and stuff, they didn't show her all of the clip and stuff. So here we go.
And so, yes, part of this is turning Taiwan into a porcupine. I think exporting our Second Amendment is a relatively free or low-cost way to do that. But I find it laughable that you will take that clip and then put words into my mouth as though that was a sufficient deterrent. Caitlin, with due respect, that's a joke, especially when I've offered.
We're not putting.
Oh, right now, man. They're in that ear. Come on, Caitlin. You've been embarrassed the last couple months or so. Trump did it to you. Then we seen you get on there and get embarrassed like 8 other times by other people. Trump's lawyer, he got you last week. Let's see if you can get a win. Let's see if you can get a win. So here's what we're going to go with. Just act calm like you're not, listening to us. Pretend that you're coming up with these own questions in your own head. Let's do that and see if we can work through this. Now, she's about to get full-blown embarrassed. Now, I understand what he's talking about. Because here she is trying to say, well, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, was that a proficient way to do things? I mean, what about all the missiles and the airplanes and the strikes and all of the other stuff that the Chinese military would use in that application? But what she's failing to realize is, do you realize how hard it is to occupy a country when their citizens are armed? If you don't want to destroy the whole infrastructure, because see, that's what would have to happen. You would have to come in. Now, all the stuff she's talking about, if all the citizens were armed, once they get into the country and try to occupy it, those citizens know more about that country than they do. You got to sit back and worry about being popped. Here you are on patrol. Next, a couple people pop up out of the dang on sewer, pop, and gone. That's why it's so hard to occupy places like Afghanistan and all these other countries. Instead of going in and wiping out the whole country, which would be counterproductive to what you're really trying to do, you try to go in and say, we just want to come in, control the population, get the resources or whatever our goal and objective is. We don't want to blow up all the infrastructure because then it's just wasteland. We don't want to come in and desecrate the whole country. So now we got to pick and choose how we deal with these people. It's very easy to deal with the people once you get past the first line of defense and get into the country if they have no guns. Now, can you imagine if China tried to occupy the U.S.? And here we are sitting on millions and millions and millions of guns. Unless they're willing to destroy all the infrastructure and just nuke everybody, they then have to contend with millions of folks here in this country to say, not on our watch. After a while, those soldiers will get the hint. These folks are relentless. They're not going to tap out. We got to worry about them popping up out of some bushes and all of that stuff, taking shots at us. Is it worth it? Here, they know all the areas of the U.S. They know the creeks, the valleys. They know how to survive in the terrain, all of that. It's very difficult to occupy a country that you're not willing to destroy if all of the citizens are armed. And this is the problem that the Democrats have with our country right now. That's why they're going after our First and Second Amendment. They want those guns because when they unleash their true tyrannical reign, they don't want to have to deal with millions of Americans running around with guns. The next thing on mysterious virus that falls out the sky. And then they pop up to talking about, all right, this time we're going to get serious. We're going door to door and forcing everybody to get, oh, wait, easy, pal. Easy, back up. All right, the guy has a gun here. They don't want to deal with that mess. So, yes, she is definitely against it because she's a globalist and she's a Marxist too. Or should I say she's just being prostituted by them. I don't know what she really believes. So now let's finish hearing him wipe her tail completely off the map.
as expansive of a deterrent strategy as I have.
It's not putting words into your mouth, and it's not saying that you didn't say those other things. It's just saying that you did say that part of your
I never
effort
said
when
it was
comes
sufficient.
to Taiwan
I never
is
said it
giving
was sufficient.
people in Taiwan handguns.
Boy, I tell you, she's a dummy. I don't see how she got the 9 o'clock slot. They need to drop the 9 o'clock slot with her butt in it. So here she is. It's not putting words in your mouth. Now, she went ahead and talked about proficiency. She added all these little key words into his statement. And he never said any of those things. Now she's sitting here about to make a fool of herself. And I love the fact that he remembers all of this stuff. This is how you embarrass him right here on TV. Because she's going to go ahead and sabotage herself.
This is really funny, Kim. It's been very educational for me to learn how media works. Yes, that is important. No one ever said that was sufficient to deter an invasion. From India to Russia to what I've said we would do with moving Ohio-class SSGNs to the South China Sea.
Oh, but she said that. Yeah, she said, is that really an efficient way to combat China's invasion of yet? Yeah, she said that, not him. And she was hoping that he didn't catch the fact that she used a key word, efficient. But yes, she says, nobody's putting words in your mouth. Those were your own words. No, those weren't his own words, fake news lady.
And to the Indo-Pacific, this is the stuff of actual deterrence and also strategic clarity that we would actually defend Taiwan. Yes, I do think I am the president who best knows how to deter China from going after Taiwan before we've achieved semiconductor independence, which is the most important foreign policy accomplishment the next U.S. president can deliver.
Now, that sounds like policy to me. All of that sounds pretty darn good. Semiconductor independence, all of that mess. Making sure that our presence is felt over there so China would stop flying balloons all over the place because of that $1.5 billion deal. Yeah, these all sound like good policies to me. But the black dude just a minute ago said this guy doesn't have any policies. And here comes Caitlin. Somebody said, is she a he? It looks like she's a he. You see that jaw? You see that man jaw right there? That's right. She got that big old jaw. The Joker jaw. That's right. Wait until they get a load of me. So let's finish hearing from the Joker.
And I gave a specific speech at the Nixon Library. In a big part, actually
But
moving
you also
Russia
said
out
that
of
you would
China's
open up an
alliance
NRA bureau
is the reverse
in
of what
Taiwan.
Nixon would have done.
But you also said you can open up Taiwan. Now, you know they're in that ear. All right, okay, you're getting beat. Yes, it's obvious you're getting destroyed. So let's see. I'm going to give you a talking point real quick. Be ready to catch it. So you also said you'd open up an NRA. Now, she just sat there and heard this man go through a plethora of ideas and policies. Which one she wants to talk about is the NRA. And see, because that's a topic that American liberals would immediately relate to. American liberals don't know nothing about no foreign policies. They don't know what goes on over countries. All they listen to is what the Democrats tell them to listen to. We need to defend democracy over in Ukraine because we told you to. Yeah, we're fighting against fascism or something like that. Okay. However much money you want to take and send over there is fine with us. And let's change up all of our little hashtags and stuff. We support Ukraine. All that. We don't care. We don't need to know about Joe Biden's dealings with Ukrainians and all. No. We're fighting against fascism or something. They don't know nothing about none of this stuff. They don't care that China's taking over and how they're abusing us. Yeah, but they will respond to issues like NRA. Isn't that a white nationalist, conservative, extremist group over here in America? What is this man talking about? He supports that. Well, then I won't support him. That's what she wants to focus on, and I got to call her out just like he is.
I mean, you also talked about.
Yes,
I just think when you listen to plans to deter China, it typically focuses on radar systems and missiles that they need, not necessarily AR-15s.
Caitlin, you might be able to...
Caitlin, you're an idiot. That's what you are, Caitlin. You're an idiot. Okay? Boy, I tell you, these people, man, are a mess. Now, remember, he is mansplaining to her because, he's embarrassing her and calling her out. So that's another tactic. When we have commentators that are obviously coming out there trying to do a hit piece and they're called out and they're exposed and they're embarrassed, we can't let that happen. If we could figure out a way to insert another motive to whomever embarrassed this person, then we won't have to worry about the embarrassment. Instead of people focusing on all of these crazy behind questions and ideas and attempts to embarrass and undermine this man and do all that stuff, instead of them focus on that, let's focus on he is a sexist and a misogynist because she's a raggedy interviewer. That's what she is.
To do this trick better with other candidates who don't really know how to respond to the game.
I'm just simply asking what your plan is with Taiwan.
What is my plan? What I have said countless times is strategic partnership with India to close the Malacca Strait if necessary. That's where China gets its Middle Eastern oil supplies. Yeah. The number one thing to do, I've said, is end the war in Ukraine by pulling apart the Russia-China alliance. Wow. Xi Jinping's calculus right now is that if the U.S. actually is in dual conflict with Russia and China, then that makes it easier for China to go after Taiwan.
Sounds smart.
So I say disband that alliance.
Good idea.
I also think that we should, and I've said this many times, we should take any one of the destroyers that are in Japan, run one a week through the Taiwan Strait until we've achieved semiconductor independence.
But wait a minute, though. I want to talk about guns. I want to talk about the guns that you want to put in the hands of all the citizens. There's a backup plan. That's a good backup plan. A very good backup plan, because maybe this big fat joker right there with that man jaw don't realize that every regime that is a dictatorship, first thing they want to do is go after freedom of speech and the right to bear arms. There's a reason why they go after guns, Caitlin. Dang on it. It's because they don't want to contend with resistance. Maybe you don't realize that. Of course you do. And that's why you're opposed to it, here or over there in China. Folks that are Marxists don't want the population armed. Unbelievable. Here she wants to focus on the guns, though.
Move to Ohio-class SSGMs loaded with 100 plus Tomahawks apiece to the South China Sea and to the Indian Ocean. This a comprehensive strategy that I've articulated in multiple places. But as part of that, I do think there's a reason why China does not have a Second Amendment. China is deathly afraid of a Second Amendment in its own country.
Absolutely. You think Cheat want to deal with that? Heck nah. I'm sure he'd be on the horn with Creepy Sleepy. Joseph Biden. You cannot control your people because you allowed them to run around with guns. She does not allow that in China. So now here she is, sitting back going, oh crap, he is lighting my tail up. Let me get back to the guns.
So making that an export to Taiwan is part of what many military experts call the porcupine strategy.
Here we go.
Which I do subscribe to and believe in, but I will not allow someone to put words in my mouth to say that I ever said that was sufficient. It is not.
I'm not putting a report in the Atlantic that you...
She going round two? She's going round two. She wants another shot. Let's see if she does better this time, y'all.
Gave an interview to, you said, quote, I think it is legitimate to say how many federal agents were on the planes that hit the Twin Towers. Maybe the answer is zero. It probably is zero for all I know, right? I have no reason to think it was anything other than zero, but if we're doing a comprehensive assessment of what happened on 9/11, we have a 9/11 commission. Absolutely, there should be an answer the public knows the answer to. Explain to me what you meant there.
This is really, it's funny. I mean, the Atlantic is playing the same game as CNN. It's funny. What I said is on January 6th, I do believe that there were many federal agents in the field and we deserve to know who they are. On 9/11, what I've said is that the government lied. And this is incontrovertible evidence, Caitlin. The government lied about Saudi Arabia's involvement. There was a Saudi spy named al-Bayoumi who they lied, and the government lied, and the 9/11 commission lied. We know.
But CNN don't care, and she doesn't because she lies. That's what they do. They know that they lie. They're like, well, of course they do, because we lie for them. Yes. See, they feed us the lie, and then we feed the public the lie. Now, here she is bringing up another subject that she's like, I don't know why they do this, man. I don't know why they send her out there. They already know her skill set sucks. And they throw her in the ring, man, to bring up stupid stuff like this. All the stuff the man talks about. She wants to bring up what doesn't seem like you believe that the 9/11 situation wasn't an inside job. And this and that. Why do you think that? Why do you think that? Instead of important stuff, like the policies that the man talks about all the time, that are more important to people when they say, man, what about jobs and our national security and the safety of our country and stuff like that? But no, Kaden wants to talk about 9/11. And believing rather, so they go through and try to find little sound bites that they can say, maybe we can trip him up or exploit him by saying, you didn't believe or support this. Something that really is kind of irrelevant to our current status and our future. Okay, with the exception of making sure it doesn't happen again. But whether he believes that that was an inside job and all that stuff, you want to focus on that? Of course you do, because that's an irrelevant topic. You want to get people caught up emotionally. 9/11 is an emotional situation that took place. And if we could label him as a denier, all of these patriots, I guess, would be totally like, what? He denied it? Oh, forget that then. Anybody who don't believe in it. Yet we also know, especially in the last years or so, that our government are liars. They're liars. So there's probably some shenanigans that went on there, and he's about to prove it.
Know that because declassified reports in 2021 revealed that al-Bayumi was indeed. What's that?
Yeah, the report that President Biden.
Come on, man, Joe. Fight back.
Are you telling me that the quote
20
is
years
wrong
later,
here?
yeah.
But are you telling me that your quote is wrong here because it says how many federal agents were on the plane?
I actually asked
Twin Towers.
Yeah,
when
I actually, and this just lifted the curtain on how media works again, I asked that reporter to send the recording because it was on the record. He refused to do it. But we had a free-flowing conversation. The truth is there are lies the government has told about 9/11, but it's not the ones that somebody put in my mouth. It's the one that I articulated, which is that Saudi Arabia...
Oh, you see Manjo? You see Manjo right there? She's winding up for another swing. You see them lips get ready? Okay, here we go. I'm about to take another swing at this guy. And he's about to shatter that block jaw right there. That's what he is. She cannot handle the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. Their intelligence was involved in 9/11. And that's a difficult thing you're not supposed to say. The facts back that up. Separately, as it relates to January 6th, same story all over again. There were federal agents in the field. I think they've lied about how many there were. And we, the people, deserve the truth.
Oh, God. Not their precious January 6th narrative. You telling me he done stuck his big foot right over into that fake narrative? The January 6th. No, you done did it now, man. You are on the radar. I guarantee you. So let's hear how Manjo responds.
Okay,
despite the layers of distortion that exist in the media to prevent us from getting
You're saying that you were misquoted here. So we will take your word.
Yes.
You're saying that you were misquoted. But you were asked another time recently about whether or not 9/11 was an inside job. This is what your response was.
Oh, y'all ready? She gonna pull up some receipts, y'all. So now they already knew what the hit piece was. All right, here's what we're gonna try to do. Let's get him on the show and try to demonize him over his comments about 9/11, okay? Stay on that topic. Don't let him get on other topics, or we want to focus on the 9/11 issue. We're going to pull up a clip and pretend that you just randomly had it queued up. Randomly had it queued up. So let's see what she's basing this whole argument on.
9/11, inside job, or exactly how the government tells us?
I don't believe the government has told us the truth. Again, I'm driven by evidence and data. What I've seen in the last several years is we have to be skeptical of what the government does tell us. I haven't seen evidence to the contrary, but do I believe everything the government told us about it? Absolutely not.
Now, wait. I just sat back and heard this man. The guy asked him 9/11, inside job or not, and do you believe that, I think he said the government told us everything or something like that. Do you believe the government about it or something like that? He never said inside job or not, right? But watch what Caitlin does.
That's two questions. 9/11 Commission. Absolutely not.
I mean, Vic, I think people look at those comments. They look at what you said in the Atlantic, which you say you were misquoted. They look at comments that you've made about the Federal Reserve adding zeros to media companies' bank accounts. And I mean, it looks like you're floating conspiracy theories with this defense of I'm just asking questions.
You mean like Russia collusion? You mean like Donald Trump got peed on by hookers and Donald Trump tried to, get the Ukrainian president to go after his opponent. Donald Trump has nuclear codes at his house that he's probably selling to Russia. Donald Trump. You mean like that? Conspiracy theories like that? Are you kidding me? See, no, those aren't the real conspiracy theories. And instead of asking questions about that, y'all made statements like it was fact. Like it was fact. Yeah, no. But here she is now saying, it seems like you're floating conspiracy theories. She's about to get it, y'all.
Well, when you actually quote me, those are my words, and I stand by them. So somebody else quoting me, putting words in my mouth, I have a problem with. But those words I stand by. You want to know why?
Why?
Because we literally know the FBI, the 9/11 Commission, the U.S. government on down told us specifically that Saudi Arabia had no involvement.
Oh, my.
20 plus years later, quietly declassifying documents showing that not only did Saudi Arabia have involvement, it was a Saudi intelligence agent that received two of those terrorists that crashed planes on 9/11, killing...
Now, here he is dropping the big hammer and the fact, undeniable, that our government lied to us. And that blows right past her. Right past her, y'all. Like she does not even compute. Like, what is he talking about? I don't know. That should blow up her whole narrative. Because the point is, if they would lie to us about that, what else would they lie about? So instead of her focusing on the fact that, yeah, they did lie to us, why would they do that? Why would our government lie to us about this? You might have something going here, Vivek. She is like, oh, I got to just go right past that. That fact that he threw right up there in that big nose. So let's see how Lockjaw goes ahead and I'm just hacking her up. Lockjaw, Blockjaw, don't matter. Rockjaw.
The question was, is 9/11 an inside job? And you didn't say no. That's what I think people are looking at.
You didn't say no.
Caitlin, you know what's really funny? You literally just played that. You could play it for your audience again. He said, or do you believe everything the government has told us? And
oh, there it is. So now she is trying to trap him, but really trapped herself. Yeah, you just played it. And the man just said, look, man, I talked about the government not being honest with us, but you want to say, since I didn't say, well, actually, it's not an inside job on my opening statement or response to that question, then it has to be the opposite, meaning you do believe it was an inside job. We want to hear you say it. That's what we want to do. And since you didn't say it, we're going to infer that you believe that it was an inside job. Now, these are unnecessary arguments. Unnecessary arguments, unnecessary topics that the voters don't even care about. But I'm only showing this to show everybody how, one, how corrupt the media is, and two, how they should be dealt with. And bear stay tails.
My answer was, I do not believe everything the government has told us because they lie.
The point is
and
that
I know
it leaves
this game
the door
comes up,
open.
Caitlin, every time there's an outsider who comes in.
It leaves the door open, and someone who's a 9/11 truther looks at that and says, that's exactly what I believe. You think the government's lying about 9/11?
I think the government has systematically and for a very long time lied about 9/11. And I think I'm the only president who has told us the truth.
He just told you. She sucks at her job. Boy, you're prostituting for nothing. You're prostituting for nothing. Good grief. You're bad at your job. God, you can't win anybody. Everybody walks right past you. Like, ooh. Well, I'll give it away for free. I don't even want that for free. Nah, I'm cool. That's what she is, man. So here she is talking about, well, what part did the government lie about? The man just told you a full-blown fact, and you just ran it back, walked right back into this left.
Saudi Arabia's involvement. It is absolutely true.
But you don't think that 9/11 was an inside job, correct?
Yeah, you want to focus on that.
And I've never said it. But the media filters do create a lot of
It's not a media filter. You have to stop blaming the media. I'm asking you about.
No, I'm blaming the media, and so is he. Yeah, because you're bringing up this stupid topic, trying to infer that he has to answer the question the way you wanted him to do, while he's having a casual conversation with a comedian. And he focused on the part at the tail end of the question, which was, do you think that we can trust our government? And the man jumps and discussed that. So here she is by omission. Well, since she didn't start off by saying, no, I do not believe that. Obviously, you believe it was an inside job.
Comments that you have made.
And I'm telling you that the comments I made, the ones you just played, are indeed what I believe, which was not that 9/11 was an inside job, but that Saudi Arabia absolutely was involved, and our government for 20 years lied to the American people about it.
There was an entire 9/11 commission report on this.
Another dumb statement. Another dumb statement. Boy, I tell you, man, they are so horrible. So here she is. Well, it was a whole, that's like saying there was a J6 committee. A whole big J6 committee. So they were all fake. They all lied. Don't try to justify this stuff by saying, well, look, it was an investigation. People looked into it. Who? See, if the people doing these investigations and these committees and all that stuff are corrupt, and then it comes out that there was lies, you're sitting back saying, well, there was a committee. But guess what? The committee lied. Maybe they didn't tell her that in the earpiece.
Yes, and it lied, and it was false. And in fact, you know where that's coming out, Caitlin? There's now a federal case in the Southern District of New York, where the government of Saudi Arabia is being sued by victims of families. That's why this is resurfacing itself. It is relevant, and it turns out
there's a difference in asking questions about Saudi Arabia's involvement and the government's involvement, and then pushing this idea that what your comment about who was on the plane, and then was 9/11 an inside job where you did not say no earlier. That's why it's important to clarify.
That's what you want to focus on, fake news?
Otherwise, it feels like you're towing the line when it comes to conspiracy theory.
No, you're trying to insert a conspiracy theory where there isn't one. Whoa. Yes. Sounds like God's up there bowling. That was a big one, y'all. That one seemed like it hit the top of my house. All right, y'all. I don't want y'all to see me get struck by lightning up in this mug doing my show. Everything goes black. Lord Jesus, protect this house right now. I don't want no lightning coming in here in the name of Jesus. All right, now, let's see if we can continue before the storm comes, y'all. All right. And it's been doing that all day, man. Is it raining where y'all? Hold on. Let me do a song from our kids. Rain, rain, go away. Come back another day. You know how kids are. Another day. Wayne, Wayne, go away. Come back another day. So here she is now.
Lynn, I am guilty as charged that I do not follow the establishment super PAC donor approved script on these questions, but I'm speaking truth, grounded in fact, at every step of the way, and that's what's really elicited something of an anaphylactic reaction of the kind we saw in 2016 against a different candidate. But this time I'm going to be grounded in principles and conviction, not just vengeance and grievance,
well,
which is
you
exactly
say you're grounded
how
in
we will
evidence.
reunite
That's
this
just
country.
simply what we were asking for.
No,
But Vivek Ramaswamy will
Yes.
leave it there.
Get her out of here. Now, she got her butt beat. So they're going to send in a specialist. So we're going to see how you deal with a real hitman. Like you know who's coming up. Yeah, the one and only Jim Acosta. Oh, yeah. They like, man.
Well, I think the former president is going to come up at the debate, whether he's there or not, and he's now facing his fourth criminal indictment, this time in Georgia on forgery, false statements, election fraud, and racketeering charges. You have said that these are political or politicized prosecutions, politicized persecutions through prosecution. Let's listen to what his former attorney general is saying about this.
Wow.
People who defendants say that he genuinely did feel that he was robbed, and this was the good fight and the proper fight.
Let's listen to Ralphie. Let's listen to the grown-up version of Ralphie from, Christmas Story right there. And you shoot your eye out, kid. So let's hear the grown-up version of Ralphie.
Even if he did, and I am dubious about that, but even if he believed that, that doesn't mean you can use illegal means to rectify it. If you think the bank is unfairly keeping your money, there are many things you can do to get it back. You can't go and rob the bank.
Yeah, what's your response to the former attorney general?
Look, I think there are deep legal flaws with this case. I'm talking to you from the Nixon Presidential Library, where I'm delivering a speech later tonight. We'll look at Nixon versus Fitzgerald. This is something that the press has altogether ignored.
Now, Jim, a professional,
a president's acts while in office are something that he actually enjoys immunity for, other than through the impeachment process. So if he believes, even incorrectly, that he was looking after election fraud, that alone could be a defense. I also think there are deep due process failures.
Yeah.
Let's start with the fact that they actually, Fulton County, publicly posted the charges of the indictment even before the grand jury had signed them.
Wow.
That's a grave prosecutorial, bushy-tailed, overexcited mistake.
True.
That's a due process violation that itself could be grounds for a motion to dismiss.
Now, do you see when you're equipped and armed with facts, common sense, all of that stuff, throws these people all the way off. So now the professional hitman over there he's waiting for his opportunity. Okay, what angle could I go at? All right, he's dropping out some real common sense stuff. And yeah, that does make sense. But because I'm a professional hitman, I'm going to go ahead and hit him with the best return argument ever. Y'all ready for this one?
We also have to look at this prosecution in the context of the fact that there are 3 others, now 4 prosecutions in a series of months, all convening around a presidential election that sets a god-awful precedent, Jim, for this country. We do not want to become a nation where the party in power uses multiple different legal cases at the same time, pushing untested novel legal theories to knock out its opposition in the middle of a presidential election.
I agree everything
That is not how we do things in the United States of America.
Yeah, let me jump in. There have been 4 different indictments. You don't think he's committed any crimes in any of these indictments?
That's your return? That's your response to all of that? There's been 4 different indictments out there. You don't think he did anything in all of these indictments? So we're supposed to just say, just because they threw a whole bunch of mud on him, that makes him dirty. That makes him dirty. They threw all the extra mud on him. There you go. Instead of just, one little dab of mud on him, man. We covered him in mud there. You don't believe he's all the way dirty. You're throwing the mud on him. Just because you pack it on, okay, don't make the person dirty. They didn't go and dive in the mud themselves. We're sitting back watching all of these people throw as much stuff on him as they could, hoping that something sticks. And here he is. You don't think any of those indictments, he did anything wrong? Look who's indicting him. 3, 4, all of that. God knows how many others are coming. And Jim's confused. He's confused, y'all.
I don't think any of the indictments have demonstrated that he committed a crime. No, and I've written on the pages of the Wall Street Journal and elsewhere wearing a technical legal hat, and you and I can go into that detail if you're
refusing
interested.
to return
but
classified documents.
Clearly politically motivated.
Ready for the stupidity?
Well, let's just take that one as an example. That indictment made zero mention of the Presidential Records Act, the most recently passed act that relates to a president giving an outgoing president's access to documents.
Jim, watch out, Jim. You might have met your match. Jim, the biggest propagander. So now he's talking about it. What about now? Watch Jim Acosta stick his whole foot, ankle, knee, thigh, hip, torso, both arms, all the way down his throat with this next statement.
The fact that this is a 49-page indictment, that was silent on that fact, reveals smacks of politicization.
Come on, Jim.
I also think that the fact that they used the Espionage Act, one of the most un-American acts in U.S. history, that has been used to round up anti-war activists, that was used to lock up Eugene V. Debs when he ran for
But do you think it's okay to have...
Yeah, see. Yeah, when you start seeing the Democrats go so far over the top, Espionage Act, I mean, y'all already done said the man was a traitor with Russia. Y'all already deemed him as a full-blown traitor to the country. One time. Yeah, you already did that. Now you're coming back with it again. The Espionage Act. Can't just hit him with regular common sense charges that you can say, okay, I mean, but no, he's a spy. Espionage Act. So yeah, that creates suspicion. But here's Jim. Y'all ready for this one though? Because he's stuck on those dang on classified documents.
For the classified documents, you think it's okay for you to have classified documents laying around the Ramaswamy household?
No, it's not.
Now, do you believe that Jim Acosta just made that statement? Oblivious to Creepy Sleepy and all of his classified documents laying around his garage next to his Corvette. You think it's okay to have classified documents laying around Vivek Ramaswamy's house? You think it's okay to have classified documents laying around a garage somewhere, Jim? You're not able to see why people are looking at this and saying, this is garbage. Joe had classified documents laying around his garage, and you want to focus on classified documents laying around your house? Not to mention...
But I think that there's a difference between a bad judgment and a crime. And the Presidential Records Act expressly gives the U.S. president access to those records.
And he didn't return them. They asked for the documents back.
Again, I would have made very different judgments.
Yeah. And you've also suggested that Vladimir Putin be allowed...
Oh, boy. Now, before Jim moves on, one thing Jim forgot before he tried to make it appear that dang on... See, this is a double hit piece. This is a hit piece on trying to go after Trump. And also because Vivek is defending Trump and some of the things that he's done. So now you want to tie Vivek to Trump's corruption. You supported Vivek. You might as well be insurrectionist yourself. All of that support you're giving to Trump. You should be stomping on Trump and demonizing him and saying, like all these other fake Republicans running, that Trump deserves this and he's divided the party and he's responsible for it. But because Vivek isn't doing that, they're like, now we got to do a double hit. We got to hit Trump and hit him too, because he's not toting the line when it comes down to demonizing Trump. So Jim's trying to do a double hit right here. So he goes from that garbage, which he never mentioned, that Joe Biden had classified documents dating all the way back to when he was a senator, which is illegal. But he wants to focus on, you're okay with him not returning those documents? No, I'm not okay with Creepy Sleepy getting documents out of that skiff while he was a senator. But you want to focus on Trump. So now he wants to go into Putin, y'all. Y'all ready? Because he's Putin and farting. That's what Jim is doing.
To keep parts of Ukraine as part of a way to solve that conflict. What if he wants parts of Poland?
You leave out the most important part of that deal.
More of Ukraine next. Aren't you letting some of these authoritarian leaders off
what actually advances? Far from it. I think that the Biden administration is so stubbornly attached to the idea of getting Xi Jinping to drop Vladimir Putin. What I think we need to be doing is get Vladimir Putin to drop Xi Jinping. Just like Nixon went to China in 1972.
Get out of there, Jim.
I think Putin is like the new Mao. I will visit Moscow and I will pull Russia out of its military alliance with China. The Russia-China military alliance is the single greatest military threat that we face today. Hypersonic missile capabilities, nuclear capabilities in Russia, far ahead of us or China. A naval capacity in China ahead of ours, combined with an economy that we depend on for our modern way of life. Wow. Those two nations are in a military alliance with one another, and nobody in either political party is talking about it. Worst of all, our engagement in Ukraine is further driving Russia into China's arms.
Wow! But yet we heard Shikari or Kari or Kerry or whatever. We heard that dude just a while ago saying Vivek has no policy. That man just ripped off and identified the most grave threat to our whole country in beautifully eloquent words. Made sense to me. I'm going, darn right, you're right. While Joe Biden and them are trying to push globalism and transgender ideology, they're pushing everybody straight into the arms of our enemies and forming alliances that are going to make it very difficult for us to respond. And while you're focusing on Vladimir Putin, China's getting bigger and fatter. Now, I wonder why Joe is not focused on China, who's doing everything they can to get away with everything they can get away with. Everything. So now, here we go. We got this dude right here, up here trying to say, well, Vladimir Putin is the biggest threat. No, he's not. China is the biggest threat. And regardless of how people feel about Vivek, what that man just identified and said is absolutely accurate. Now, let's see how Jim handles it.
So my foreign policy centers on weakening that alliance. That advances American interests.
But you would let Putin have parts of Ukraine.
That is how we actually
But you would let Putin have parts of Ukraine.
But you would let Putin have parts of Ukraine.
Freeze the current lines. I would freeze the current lines of control, and that would leave parts of the Donbass region with Russia. I would also further make a commitment that NATO will not admit Ukraine to NATO. But there are even greater wins that I will get.
Sounds like
Now wait, here we go. Y'all ready for the final slap to show how you got to deal with these funky people? See, when you go ahead and you destroy the biggest hitman on CNN, Jim Acosta, and they said the Vivek shouldn't be ready for the debates and stuff like this. So here's how he finally destroys Jim Acosta. So now Jim's going to try to make it seem like he's a Putin sympathizer. That's what he's going to do. You're going to give it all over to Putin.
States in return, the top of the list. No, our goal should not be for Putin to lose. Our goal should be for America to win.
Oh.
That's what we have forgotten in this country, is that driving Russia into the ground is not a U.S. strategic goal.
Oh, my. Jim, you're done. See, y'all want to focus on Vladimir Putin. So Americans, if we don't celebrate our influence over there in Ukraine and the money we send and all of that stuff, then, we love Putin. We love Putin. If we're not gun-ho about supporting that little midget that came over here to our country talking about, it is very important that the people in America support the efforts in Ukraine. We want more of your money. If we don't support that little tattoo dude, boss the plane, then I guess we're Putin sympathizers and stuff like that. See, that's what they tried to do to guilt us into the support. No, I ain't got a problem with Putin. Dang on it. And honestly, I don't like that dang on Zelensky and what he's doing. So at this point, I feel for the Ukrainian people who are caught in this, in their pawns, because these globalists want a shot at Putin. The globalists want to make Putin commit to their globalist agenda, and he's not on it. And unfortunately, they're using Ukraine to do it, to try to sweat him. But in their efforts, they don't realize that they're shooting themselves in the foot. And China loves it. And Jim up here trying to undercut what he is talking about right there, Vivek. And I'm saying, Vivek made sense. Now, guys, the fake news have to contend with the fact that Trump is getting more popular and most likely, without these folks cheating, will win. Let's see how they like it.
So, Eric, you're down in Georgia. There are 19 defendants, some of whom are very Georgia-specific here. Yeah. With that many defendants, do you think that everyone on that list is going to want to play hardball with prosecutors, or how likely is it that someone would want to cut a deal?
Yeah, here we go.
I think it's extremely likely that there's going to be a deal cut. What? And I want to make one more point, if I may.
Go ahead, hitman. So you see this guy in the middle, the dummy in the middle, dummy in the middle, dummy in the middle. So the dummy in the middle throws out the question, and he makes sure he lays it out beautifully to drop the idea that, what we really need is somebody to turn on Trump. That's what we need. Do you think that there's a potential chance that somebody might flip and turn on Trump? Just a random question.
Unlike the other cases, race is going to play a central role in this case in all kinds of ways.
How do we get back to race?
We all know Donald Trump is probably a little more sensitive to black women than he is to other people. And, the Fulton County jury pool is going to be largely African-American if it stays here. So I do think there's an undercurrent of race in this case, and especially given that it's Georgia, that's going to make it a little bit different than the other three cases. I do expect some of those witnesses to turn and to testify against the president.
No, you want some of those witnesses to turn and testify against Trump. That's what you want. And you're going ahead and laying it out there. You're making a suggestion, along with CNN. They're trying to pull out every stop right now to stop this man, every stop to stop him. So now this guy, out of nowhere, inserts race. How did we get back to race? You might as well just came straight out and said Trump's a racist and he hates black women. He's sensitive towards black women. What does that mean? So what are you talking about? I do think race is going to play a part. Didn't describe how or why. None of that. Just dropped it in there because when in doubt, sprinkle some racism on it, along with the other fake narrative and suggestion. What else they up to?
Harry, we talked about this several times. This week, Trump was indicted for the fourth time. Do 4 indictments matter any more than the previous 3?
Not really, no. It's like deja vu all over again. I feel like Yogi Berra, right? I mean, you've now had 4 indictments. You look at the polling amongst the GOP base. Do they think Trump should have been indicted? Look at the consistency here. 14% for the New York one, 50% for the efforts related to January 6th. The newest one, the Georgia election case, 15%. The classified docs handling, 16%. I guess you could say that's the highest percentage, but the fact is they're all within the margin of error of each other. The GOP base has made up its mind when it comes to these indictments. They don't believe that Trump should have been charged with a crime. The vast majority believe that. And the fact is, it just does not seem like there's any changing of their minds on any of this, no matter how many indictments there are.
Oh, you think the fake news will learn. Now, Jim over there probably right now is sitting there like, man, I feel like laying an egg right now because this man is breaking this down. So now let me get this straight. You would think 4 indictments would do it. I mean, if 3 won't do it, let's go with 4. 4 should turn the tide. 4 should convince them that, well, man, we didn't see it, the 3rd indictment, but this 4th one, that one right there spoke to me. It changed my whole mind. Well, guess what? Now we are mocking it. That's how bad it is. It's bad when we're like, okay, where's the 5th one? Bring it on. Drop the 5th one out there so we can go ahead and close out the primaries and stuff and go ahead and get into the election because Trump will just go ahead and close the deal with the 5th one. See, so now Jim's over there sick. He's wondering why 4 hasn't done it. This goes to show that these people are dropping hit pieces. Their whole goal and agenda is to stop Trump. It's not to talk about the news, the facts and stuff. This man is sick about this. He's like, what is wrong with these people? We used to control their minds. We used to be able to persuade them to believe and think what we want them to think. Dang on it. What's wrong with these people? Our mojo is no longer working. So he's mad over this, y'all.
And so are you seeing any impact on his standing after these indictments, or is it just essentially a non-starter for a lot of folks?
Yes,
they just made up their minds. I mean, it looks like those numbers you just showed there, those are maybe the never-Trumpers who just don't like Trump anyway.
Yeah, that's right. And, they make up about 15% of the Republican base, but the vast majority of the Republicans are not in that never-Trump camp. Look at the horse race numbers now compared to where they were 6 months ago. And what do you see? In fact, you see Trump higher than he was back in February 6 months ago. 53% a recent Fox News poll. There has been movement downwards for one candidate, Ron DeSantis, who's dropped from 28% to 16%. There is one other candidate, though. You interviewed him earlier this week.
Oh, the guy who just embarrassed Jim Acosta. That guy, the one that just lit his tail up, is on the rise. And like I said earlier, I think he's interviewing for a vice president position. But he's doing a heck of a job because he straight up ripped Jim and the other chick with the rock jaw. But notice this, though. Trump's getting bigger and better. Now, what to do with him is the question. They already know, unless they do something drastic, Trump will win. Unless they full-blown corrupt the whole system like they've been trying to do. The election interference done already started. It's been started. After the installation of Joe Biden, it started then, right, with the J6 and, all that crap. And if Trump would have never had potential to run again, they wouldn't be going hard on the J6 narrative. They wouldn't be going hard on all of these other stupid indictments and stuff. The interference started right after. So now Jim has got to sit here and look at these numbers and percentages and have to eat it. He's like, man, all of our corrupt efforts to manipulate the people ain't working. Come on, FBI. Come on, CIA. Come on, all of you, the DOJ and all of you prosecutors. Do something. We got to come up with something. Now, I'm going to do a next video, next live stream. I'm going to be talking about the next phase of their plan, which is to get Trump off the ballots in all of the states that's ran by their raggedy politicians, because they're seeing the writing on the wall. Nothing they're trying to throw on him is sticking because the people see through what they're doing.
Ramaswamy, who wasn't even asked in their February poll, look where he is now at 11%, according to Fox News. So he is actually closing in on DeSantis for second place. But at this particular point, it is Donald Trump against the field. He has the majority of Republicans in his camp, and it doesn't seem like there's any stopping him at this particular point.
And what about when it comes to the general electorate and Joe Biden?
You hear Jim? He's hoping for some hope, y'all. But what about, did y'all consider this? Maybe we ain't doing our job and prostituting hard enough, because he's still getting bigger and stronger. Somebody said, Vivek said he wouldn't be vice president, only president. Even if he ain't vice president, his, chief of staff, something. Is when it comes down to vice presidents, these choices, I think, are good ones. Either Kari Lake or Vivek, because they're no nonsense so far. Now, like I said, unless Vivek totally changes the script on what he's saying, then what he's saying, I support his approach towards some of those things, especially his view on the deep state. He's looking at that and saying, hey, that can't be salvaged. That stuff have to be completely, and I need somebody that will be on a team to say, let's destroy that. We got to wipe that out. Kari Lake feels the same way, so we'll see who ends up being the Veep, but whoever it is can't be a Mike Pence. That's what we don't need. We don't need a Mike Pence. So let's finish hearing Jim reach for straws right about that. He's like, oh man, come on, something, give me something.
Yeah, you might think, because the majority of Americans do believe that Trump did something illegal, at least on one of those indictments, that it might be impacting his general election standing. But the fact is, look here, this is Quinnipiac University. It was a 2-point race in February. Look where it is now. It's a 1-point race. That's well within the margin.
It ain't working,
but take away one
Voodoo
thing from
ain't
this,
working.
and one thing only if you take away only one thing.
What?
And that is, I think there are a lot of Democrats who simply can't believe that Donald Trump can be elected president again. The polling indicates that Trump is, in fact, in a stronger position at this point than he was during the entire 2020 campaign.
And the attacks indicate that. That's why I know we are over the target. The attacks indicate that they're going, this dude, it seems like we can't stop him. We done slung all of this crap on this man for 6 years. All of this trying to hit him over the head with the pockets, going after all his friends, family, all of that. Done called the man a racist, a traitor to his country, all of that. And the man still is going, so what else can we do? Take him off the ballot. That's what we're going to do. Now, somebody said, write him in. Now, that's a question I did have. Because if they remove him off the ballot in some of these states that got some corrupt politicians, could they still write him in? That's the question I have. Anybody know the answer to that? Let me know. All right, let's finish hearing the fake news suck on a lemon.
According to the national polls, if we had state-level polling, I wouldn't even be surprised if Trump were ahead in the swing states that are most important.
Jim don't want to hear
When
that.
the race is that close, it comes down to the Electoral College.
Electoral College.
And who knows what happens with that. We don't even have those kinds of numbers just yet. But from a national standpoint, you're absolutely right. It is remarkable where Trump stands right now when it comes to the rest of this field and with general election voters. Harry Ensign, as always.
You don't sound too enthusiastic about that, Jim. Yeah, you sound down. It's remarkable. Man, all my hard work and effort seems to be backfiring. So, and then you're sure he's rising, right? Oh, man, okay. So now let's see how the other networks handle it.
Thank you very much.
Lead is even larger. So these are 3 polls that were out over the last week. Look at these leads for Donald Trump. He's at 62% of the CBS News YouGov poll, 57% at Quinnipiac University, 53% of the Fox News poll. Look at where DeSantis is in all these polls. Look how far back he is. He doesn't crack 20% in any of them. So in Iowa.
So that's why he shouldn't have played spoiler. There it is. Shouldn't have played spoiler. He should have went ahead and focused on Florida, and the people would love him. See, now granted, the Floridians, I'm sure they love his policies and everything, but when you kind of branch outside of that, people are saying, what are you doing? What are you doing, Ron? Why are you doing this? All of these other people that's running against Trump really are playing the role of a spoiler. I mean, why don't you just throw your support behind him? And we use all that resource that you guys are taking up, whoever's paying and submitting and all of that stuff to your campaign and stuff. How about all of the people in the GOP unite together and we all stand behind one person? Okay. We don't even have to go through the primaries and all of that stupid stuff. All of them should just drop out. But nope. Now you got people like DeSantis and others that I'm saying, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Good grief. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Now you're a candidate for nothing. You see the numbers. Do you really think you're going to make a last minute surge? Mike Pence, Chris Christie, Krispy Kreme. You think folks are really going to be like, all right, last minute buzzer beater. I'm going with Chris Christie. Shooting it up for Chris. They're not. It's over, Chris, and the rest of y'all. And here he is breaking it down again, and I'm sure CNN wants the lights to go out right now.
You have that 20-plus point lead for Donald Trump. That's actually smaller than the lead we see nationally, where we see these leads of 35, 40, near 50 points in this particular case. Of course, the primary is one thing. If Trump wins the primary, can he go on and win the general election? Right. And we've had 3 polls that have come out over the last week here. And I want you to take a look at how close this race is at this particular point. Granted, the general election is over a year away. The largest lead for Joe Biden is just 3 points within the margin of error. No clear leader. Look at these. 1 point. 1 point. If you go back at where we were at this point 4 years ago, Joe Biden's lead was high single digits to low double digits. This is significantly closer than where we were 4 years ago. So this idea that Donald Trump can't win the general election, I want you to lose that idea. This race is very, very close, and Donald Trump is polling better right now than basically at any point during the entire 2020 cycle.
After 4 indictments.
After four indictments.
It just doesn't really seem to matter.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it is fascinating that all your efforts to try to stop Trump, these people, man, are so obvious that it looks like they're evil parrots in a cage. Here she is, after 4 indictments. That's fascinating. It's crazy. I love it, man. I love to see them look like they're sucking on a lemon. And you would think they would have enough common sense to realize why Trump is excelling in spite of all of this. Because you're fake. Because we all see the hit pieces and we all see the corruption. We all see it. That's why. They're not even going out on the streets to kind of get a feel for why Trump supporters are increasing. I've been watching videos, black folks, Chinese young folks, everybody, man, I'm going with Trump, man, bunk that mess. They don't get it. You would think they just straight living inside of that studio right there. And yeah, she's shocked. That's fascinating. You mean to tell me 4 indictments is not enough? It's depressing. What else we got to do? So wait, it doesn't end there.
Harry Anton, thank you. Thank you.
Out here is I want to show you this stuff has taken a huge toll on him. You know, Biden, before the 2020 election, he was right side up, which in our polarized politics is quite astonishing. But look, Trump and Rudy Giuliani began this campaign to try to tarnish Biden, to try to turn him into the Clinton name, you know, with the obsession over the Ukraine businesses with Hunter. And it's worked. His numbers now look more like Hillary Clinton 16 than Biden 20.
No, it wasn't Trump and Giuliani. It was you guys. It was all of this information that came out about the CIA, FBI, DOJ, and all the stuff they did. That's what it was. It was all of these fake news networks getting exposed, working in conjunction with all of these intel agencies to do their bidding. Yes, that's what it was. It was you guys that don't have a governor when it comes down to Trump derangement syndrome. Y'all made it too obvious. And not only was it that, it was you guys who supported creepy, sleepy, sleazy, slimy, sloppy Joe, knowing that that man's brains had slid out of his ears a long time ago. Y'all knew it, but instead, y'all come talking about that, he has a stuttering problem. Stop picking on Joe. Yeah, it was you guys who overlooked all of his corruption, overlooked that laptop, overlooked all of that. It was y'all. So don't be sitting there talking about but that Trump and Giuliani's trying to demonize him. He demonized himself, and y'all helped him do it. Yeah, his bad choices did it for himself, and then you guys covered it up. And you're shocked right now that his poll numbers are dropping. What happened is it just finally caught up with many people in the population who were asleep. And you know, one of the things that wake people up real quick is the economy. That's what'll do it. You might be caught up on some racism and all of that stuff, but when it hits home in your pockets, that's when you start going, hey, whoa, Joe Biden's stinking it up. And you guys are trying to pretend he's not. And now we're going to go ahead and close with two heavy hitters, y'all. That is no nonsense. These are two people right now that definitely must be in Trump's cabinet when he wins, because they are taking no prisoners. Telling it like it is. Starting off with my man right here.
New era in American history in which the prosecutor's office has been weaponized and been transformed into an instrument of political repression. And anybody thinking this stops here, anybody thinking that, well, this will move on, the radical left will move on, is living in a delusion. They are living in an absolute fantasy. If you can get away with having a local prosecutor or main justice take over a presidential election, throw innocent people in jail for decades potentially, you can prosecute and incarcerate Republican attorneys for the crime, the thought crime of providing legal counsel with which the prosecutor disagrees. There's no limiting principle here. It will be open legal season on Republicans. And the only way this ends, and I hate to say it, but it's true, is if Republicans return lawfare in kind.
Thank you, Stephen Miller. Now he's keeping it real. He's a realist like me. See, we can't be pooting and farting around with these dudes. We've seen their capability. We've seen the depth at which they're really willing to go to stop Trump and us. It's no time to be talking about, well, they'll change their approach. They're never going to change without some incentive. You sitting back having a kid who acts a fool to redirect their behavior on their own. You want them to self-correct? All you're doing is like, hopefully he'll realize that staying up all night in the second grade and trying to go to school and sleeping through class and hitting other kids and yelling at his teacher and getting up and running out of the room. I'm sure he'll get a revelation real soon that that's not right. You think that's what's going to happen? Or will the kid get encouraged because there's no threat? There's no person to help guide them. There's no motivation. Everybody lets them do what they want to do. Hit another kid. Hey, you know, you're so cute. Now don't do that. But if you go over and you give them one of these, or you give them one of, hey, you know what? Your butt, get in your room. Give me that PlayStation. Give me your little cell phone, your little jive turkey. Give me all of that mess and take your butt to bed. You start dropping some stuff on them like that, they'll think twice before they raise a hand to another kid. So here's what he's saying. He's saying, if you think that if we win the presidency, that these Democrats are going to stop faking investigations, if the deep state is going to self-correct, if you think that's what's going to happen, you're delusional. They have no reason to do it. Look at all the things they've already done and have been getting away with and are sorry behind Republicans are sitting back just identifying the problem. Some of them. Others aren't even bringing it up. But some of them are going, yeah, man, they're doing all of this stuff. Now what? So what? Now what? I want to see some action, man. I want to see y'all do the same type of tactics, however justified, that the Democrats are doing to us. So they letting bootleg prosecutors in states just run rampant and interfere with an election. And our Republicans are going, how about you impeach some of these people? How about you bring them up to Congress and put them under the microscope? How about you go after some bigwigs, not just Biden, but the people who are supporting Biden? So here's the question back to Stephen. Let's see how he responds.
That is the only way you could ever create the political conditions for a ceasefire. Otherwise, one side gets pulverized and it keeps getting pulverized.
And you think that the House Republicans should start making criminal referrals to the Department of Justice, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, I think you have to take a hard look at both the Russia hoax conspiracy, all of these things, the Russia hoax conspiracy, the open borders criminal and cartel conspiracy, the suppression of First Amendment speech conspiracy, the deprivation of civil rights by the Biden administration and local prosecutors, and on down through the list, and of course Joe Biden and the RICO conspiracy involving him and his children. And you take all of that and you begin crafting criminal referrals to the Department of Justice, which can then be taken up in 2025 under an honest DOJ for.
And that's what they don't want. So now Stephen just went ahead and he listed all things that they've been getting away with no repercussion. Think about what they did. You had folks in the intel community abuse their clearance in their position to lie for Joe Biden's son. No repercussions. You had James Comey help conduct a full-blown false investigation against Donald Trump by calling him a Russian agent. Nothing. He's on TV. He's doing interviews and stuff. He's writing books. You got all of these people who, Hillary Clinton came up with the fake dossier to try to label Trump as a full-blown Russian agent that launched all of this and nothing. She's on TV right now on Rachel Madcow talking about, you know what? I mean, it's sad that this all came out, that Donald Trump is, and I'm saying these people have no threat. They're running around confident and bold and arrogant to get back on TV talking about Trump's still evil after y'all been busted, faking all of this mess with no repercussions. You got Christopher Wray that done lied so many times. You got Mucus that's lied so many times. You got Garlic that's lied so many times. You got Fauci that's lied so many times, and they're still walking around free. They're not even under pressure of any type of investigation, impeachment, nothing. And I'm like, when? When are y'all going to actually go after these people? Because right now they're like, man, don't worry about it. The Republicans are just blowing smoke. We're good. They're going to take the high road. Don't worry about it. Just hang in there. And they know if Trump get in, they might not be so easy to overlook their corruption. And then you got Kash Patel, who finishes it off by saying what he thinks should happen. Check this out.
Or around Christmas, potentially right after, that there's going to be a floor vote on impeachment articles against Joe Biden, and that Jim Jordan's going to have enough gravitas to get those over the line, and that they're going to impeach Joe. That's what I'm being told. Cash, your thoughts?
I still think it's the wrong target, and then we talked about it on your show last time. Impeaching Joe Biden for what? Like, I get it. He's lied. He's broken the law. Everyone knows that. This guy can barely stand up during the daytime.
True.
Why are we? It's going to be as if the Republican machine is punching at an old white man, which is exactly what you'll do if you impeach him. What we need to do is impeach Garland and Wray for the countless felonies they have committed. Like you just talked about how Garland lied to the world under oath about the communications about Hunter Biden's sweetheart plea deal. Listen, what I tell Donald Trump in private on this line is what I tell everyone in public. One of the critical central platforms to the candidacy must be the two-tier system of justice and its destruction. And that is architected and engineered by Wray and Garland. Now, whether it's Hunter Biden and his laptop, whether it's Joe Biden and his classified emails, whether it's the treatment of Donald Trump, whether it's Jan 6th or Russiagate or classified leaks to the media, all of that is orchestrated by Wray and Garland.
Woo, Cash, you might be onto something, man. So we know that Creepy's not standing up on his own. We know Creepy's crutch is Garlic and Wray. We've seen them in action. We've caught them in lie after lie after lie. We've seen them have whistleblowers come out and talk about what these folks are up to, and nothing's happening to them. Creepy is not standing on his own. They're holding him up, along with probably several others. So how about we go ahead and cut the legs out from under? Now, I will say one other thing. Do it all at the same time. Granted, I get it. Creepy is not the biggest threat. He would be nice to knock off his little high horse and expose his corruption. But dang on it, go after Garlic, go after what's the other one? Mucus, and go after Raggedy Ray. Go after all of them because they are the masterminds. They are the ones that are abusing their power. Creepy don't know what's going on right about now, but that doesn't mean don't impeach him either. Do it all at once. Get them all. Dang on it.
And all of that, just like these letters were documented by Hunter Biden's attorney and DOJ, have been documented by the FBI and DOJ. And we have yet to see that material because the FBI has stonewalled the receipts, the request of the receipts from Jordan and Comer and company like that. And they've done nothing in response to it. They keep saying we might hold you in impeachment, but holding Joe Biden in impeachment is a political punch. What the American people want to see is the actual documentation of corruption that you know exists. You just laid it out in the beginning of your show on one thing. And if you go after Joe Biden, they're going to be like, oh, it's all about the Bidens, bigger than the Bidens. It's about saving our justice system. And it goes to whistleblowers. It goes to Catholic institutions and the false prosecution of them. It goes to forcing our kids to learn CRT and gender dynamics. All of those things are documented by the FBI. And we caught Chris Wray lying again on attacking churches and labeling those guys domestic terrorists. He said, oh, it only happened in one field office. Now we found out it happened in 4 field offices.
Now, do you know how quick the Democrats would have pulled the trigger of impeachment on every single one of these people if they were Republicans? We got these people lying after lying. I've seen so many dang on hearings up there on the Capitol. So many. Over and over again. You bring dang on Garlic in. You catch him lying. You catch him in all kind of double standards. You catch him trapping with all of this, and you got whistleblowers. You got all of that. Still no impeachment yet. You're just going to let him run out his term. That's what you're going to do? You got Raggedy Ray coming up there, getting trapped in all of these other lies and stuff. And I'm saying, no impeachment yet. How many lies? How many lies do you need to launch impeachment against these people? That's my question, Republicans. They are pissing me off with this, man, because I'm saying, what? Y'all waiting on one more? All right, we're waiting on one more lie. You're waiting on one more hidden document that gets leaked to show what they're doing behind closed doors. What are you doing? You're waiting on one more whistleblower to come out and risk their life, to reveal what these people are doing behind closed doors, and then they become a target. What are y'all waiting on? You got mucus blowing out our border, been doing it for almost 4 years now. Almost 4 years. You got all the folks down there on the border who's on the front line saying, man, they giving us no support. This guy's horrible. He's like, you got all of that. You got all of these people revealing how many lies this man has told. Every one of them, including Joe. But Joe's not operating anything. As you saw in the beginning of my show, that man didn't even know what was going on in FEMA. 100 beds. Wait, no, 500. How many? What does that say? You think that guy's the mastermind behind all of this? No, it's these folks that holds him up and don't have to worry about no repercussions. Christopher Wray pops up every time. That sources and methods. To get back with you on that. I never heard of that. I disagree with the. That's what they do. We done heard about all of the agents that's been sprinkled into the J6 thing. We got all of that information. What are they doing with it? It's driving me crazy, man. Because if you don't deal with those people, then what happens is you replace those people. Nothing happens to the ones you replace, like Big for Nothing Comey. You think the next corrupt one is going to come up and say, if I do something like that, nothing's going to happen to me either. We got immunity. The worst that can happen is I might lose my job, but then get my pension or a cushion job on CNN or MSNBC, long as I'm demonizing Trump or conservatives. That's not a threat. That's not a deterrent. You think Hillary Clinton feels threatened as she goes there on Rachel Maddow and gonna lecture us about what Trump did and all his corruption, and don't even have to address the fact that her raggedy behind corrupt butt lied about Trump and came up with a dang on Russia collusion narrative that she paid for that took our whole country through that mess. And she got the boldness and arrogance to get on TV like she ain't never done nothing wrong. It's unbelievable. And I'm saying Republicans, man, y'all, they're killing us.
I mean, these are things that the American public, when they're not tuned into your show, who goes into great depth on this, they just don't see it. And that's what the voters need. And we have an impeachment proceeding is the biggest platform in the world, because no matter who you impeach, everyone is going to watch it. Everyone is going to watch it. And I think the political, muster or will to retaliate for Donald Trump's bogus impeachments, I understand it. But if you want to save this republic, we got to go after the real government gangsters. Yep. Joe Biden's done. I don't think he makes it to 24. I don't know about you. They're probably trying to replace him already.
They are.
They're in the worst position possible. But if we impeach him, we're doing their job for them. They want us to impeach him so they can have him removed. He can pardon his son, and they can slip in like Gavin Newsom.
That I don't want. So, Cash, you might be onto something. Okay. And yes, it would be a legitimate excuse for them. Well, yeah, look at Joe. He got impeached. So, yeah, we think it's better for him to just. But what I don't want him to do is go ahead and pardon his son. I want to see him drag his raggedy butt through a so-called another campaign season and embarrass himself and watch the Democrats go ahead and have to finally say, he's raggedy. He's raggedy. We don't want him to. And then if he loses, then we win. Then prosecute his tail. Go after him. Because right about now, he got what, a year left? They didn't waited this long. I mean, the Republicans got back into power almost a year ago, and I'm still not seeing any. They're still toying around with it. All right, that pretty soon we're gonna impeach. You got to go after the nestled in folks in the intel community, the DOJ, and all of that stuff. You got to clear out those people. Then, even if we don't destroy that whole institution, the next person stepping up will look at the example that was made and think twice. They won't sit back and say, well, heck, James Comey did it and he's on TV. Now, Ray, here I am. I'm going to do it too. So shoot, if I get fired when Trump wins or whoever wins, so what? I'll go on MSNBC and talk about how corrupt Trump was. That's all. That's the worst thing that could happen to me. No, what you need to see is these folks getting drug in through impeachment, bringing up charges, and being held accountable for the role that they played in abusing their power, their top security clearance, all of the things they've done while they were in office and out of office. And nothing happened to them. Now, you think others coming up the ranks are going to learn the lesson? Now, frankly, I'm all in favor of getting rid of those institutions, period, because they're so contaminated. I don't think they can be salvaged. Build something different, man. But we sure enough can't just say, well, you know what, we're going to change regimes, bring in Trump or whomever, and then they'll self-correct. They're not going to do it without an incentive. So, Cash, you're dead on, man. And don't let Creepy pardon his son and ride off into the sunset and with his creepiness. I don't want to see that. I want to see that man pay as well.
We got to be careful what we ask for. It's just too much of a short-term punch for me, not going after Garland and Ray.
Did you hear that? Not going after Garland and Ray. I want to see those three, and don't forget Mucus. Throw Mucus in there too. I want to see those three come under severe punishment. And I also want to see Fauci prosecuted as well. Sick of this mess, man. So even if we don't impeach him now, if we win, somebody needs to come in and go straight after every single one of them. And the ones in the past, this got cushion jobs right now, go after them too. Go after them too. We got the information. The Durham report shows so much. All of that mess. And these people are just like, so what? They're arrogant. And then go after them prosecutors in these cities, them George Soros paid prosecutors that are abusing their power. Go after all of them. In the words of that character in Star Wars where he was like, fire everything. That's how I feel. You get back in the captain seat, fire everything. That's what we need to do. So God bless y'all. God bless America. Boy, I'm sick of seeing these people just get away with stuff, man. It just drives me nuts. It's so arrogant. Like, yeah, we know y'all know we corrupt. So what? What y'all gonna do about it? What are these Republicans going to do about it? That's the question. So thank you. Somebody said you are amazing. I appreciate that. All of you that support my channel, y'all are amazing as well. I can't do it without you. Those that have been sending the text to me, I sent out the text. I'm still working on being able to individualize every single one of those texts so you're not in a group text. You might get some people in the text want to just chat. And I know how some people are like, man, I don't want my notification going off. I think you might be able to even silence it if you wanted to or whatever. I'm working on that. So just be patient with me, guys. Yeah. So in other words, please, those that have not texted me to get become a part of that, please do so. 330-974-4607 and just text the word MAGA so I can log you in and you'll be a part of it, And when I figure that out, I'll let all of y'all know on how I can do that. But then I also want you to continue to support my other channel, my Kevin's Corner. Not only that, but my laptop. Oh, I think when that big fat lightning bolt hit, it blew my other laptop out or something. Dang on it, what the heck happened? But anyway, please subscribe to my other channel, my Stop and Think About It channel. And what else? Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Rumble. And those that want to donate to my channel, my Cash App, my PayPal is accessible to you. It's under the links, the description area. And don't forget, these all are converted into podcasts as well. Now, I think we're just a couple minutes into the debates, so we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and check those out and let y'all go ahead and check them out, and we'll touch base probably maybe tomorrow. We'll see. All right, so God bless. God bless America. Let's get ready to get out of here, man. After exposing all of this corruption. I ain't scared. I know you see the way we tear up the place. Yeah. See y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Take care.